This lesson will be focusing on the art production side of ephemeral art. The materials you're going to need, you'll need your sketchbook, a pencil to draw with. You'll need some sort of flat surface, so either a table, I'm using a piece of like chipboard or cardboard. You'll also need some kind of a squeeze bottle with salt in it. As you can see, there's salt. So I got just ketchup and mustard bottles from the dollar store that are easy to squeeze out of. You do want it to be sort of a small hole so that you can squeeze the salt out in a distinct pattern. And you'll also need a cup of water or some sort of container full of water. So today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be creating an ephemeral art piece of our own. And because we just focused on the artist Motoi Yamamoto and his salt works, we're going to be creating our own salt work as well. In the sketchbook, what I want you guys to do is sketch out 3 designs of a salt work that you would like to create. If you remember, Motoi Yamamoto created salt works that had to do with his sister, so he did a pattern of the brain. He also did natural patterns, so like the pattern of a hurricane. You could do something that has to do with your last name or something to do with your first name. Maybe it's a design related to your culture or your religion or where you grew up. So I'd like you to do 3 sketches, and when you've done all 3 sketches, I want you to choose the one that you think is the best crafted, the most creative, and it's going to translate into the best salt work. So I've done 2 so far, and I've done a W to represent my last name with some kind of design inside. Oh, and I have a second choice, which is a mountain range. And I think I'm going to go with the mountain range because this is a place where I used to go with my family when I was younger, and it reminds me of home. So I'm going to do a mountain range. But I'd like you to do 3 designs and choose the best one. So once you've chosen your best design, keep that aside so you can refer to it. But I want you to get your flat surface prepared, and I want it to be clear enough so that you can create your whole design on it without running out of space. So all you're going to do is you're going to take this squeeze bottle with salt already in it. As you can tell, it's kind of heavy, so you can hear it. So you'll be squeezing out the salt into your design. So I'm just going to show you a little demonstration of how you might go about this. It's totally up to you. You can create this in any way you want, but make sure you keep it flat or you keep it still. Another good idea would be to tape your station down. So if you have tape or some sort of way to secure your surface, if you're not doing it directly on the table, that might help you. But again, we have to remember we're creating ephemeral art pieces, so they're not supposed to last anyway. It's supposed to be about the experience and how it's destroyed once you're done with it. So even if you knock into it, that could be how your piece is ephemeral. Remember, once you're done creating your piece, you're going to want to take a video or a picture or some kind of documentation of your art piece so that you can document the proof that you actually made it, because we will be wiping these away in the end. So I'm just going to go ahead and start. And as we saw in Motoi Yamamoto's video, he kind of taps the bottle as he goes along to help dispense the salt. Squeezing it kind of puts air into the pattern or into the line, and so it tends to disrupt it. So it's kind of hard, but you need to probably use 2 hands to do this. Can make different kinds of lines with these. And it's really just an experimentation about using loose materials to not create a perfect piece, because it will be destroyed in the end anyway. If it starts to get stuck, you might need to shake it or somehow figure out how to do that. And then I might end up filling some of these in. To give it a kind of different texture. So again, each line you make, each design you do, they can all be different. It doesn't all have to be the same technique or the same method that you use each time. And this is just about exploring how to use the materials in different ways as you go along creating the piece. And once you start shading, you might want to go in and make the lines heavier with more salt so that they stand out more from your shading technique. You also might find it interesting to use air or to draw spaces with your fingers to create different kinds of lines. So I might go in and sculpt these mountains down using air. So it can be kind of an additive method and a subtractive method if you'd like. So once you think you're finished with your design, make sure you think about the different qualities that you want your piece to have. You want it to be creative, so something that speaks to yourself or speaks to your family or your culture or what it may be. You want it to be well crafted, so when you're doing this, take a lot more time than I did. I just did a short demo to show you how to do this type of project. But really take your time, make sure your lines are really clear, your patterns are distinct, and make sure you're using the materials, whether it's adding salt or whether it's taking salt away with just air. Make sure you're really doing it in a well-crafted way. And also make sure you create a great composition, so something that's equally balanced. It has contrast, deeper areas, higher areas. So just make sure you're thinking about all of those things while you're making your piece. Once you're done with your piece, I'd like you to use a phone of some sort or a camera or digital camera, anything like that. And I want you to take a picture to document your piece. So once you've documented your piece, send that picture to me on the server or via email, and this is going to be the proof of your piece. So now that we've documented and really make sure that you get that picture before we destroy this piece, you can go ahead and, if you've taped down your surface, you can go ahead and move that, or rip that tape away, or somehow gather up your flat surface. If you don't have it on a separate piece of cardboard or paper or anything like that, you can use a brush to wipe the salt away. But I'm going to get my water container, and now this is the part of an ephemeral art piece where we're going to restore our piece back to nature, or maybe back to its original state. And with a salt work, we often find salt coming from water in the ocean. So just like Motoi Yamamoto did, we'll be restoring this salt back to the ocean. So you can condense the salt in whatever way you can without making a huge mess. And there you have it. So now your ephemeral art piece is condensed into this cup of water, or your container of water. So I hope you guys enjoyed this lesson. Remember to take your time with this piece. This was just a short demonstration. And please, please, please remember to document your piece before you destroy it. Have a good one.